Are you feeling a bit lazy today? Does managing flasks, sustaining charges and mana and keeping up buffs just annoy you sometimes? Do you just want to relax, play a tanky build without many buttons to press, but you're bored of armor and ES characters? Well, don't you worry, lazy couch potato, cause I got you covered. With the Lazy Windripper! And I know what you're thinking. How does he want to make a crit bow character tanky? What is so lazy about this build anyways? And isn't a Windripper fucking expensive? And as always, I will answer all those questions and more in this video. But first of all, let's cut down on the hype a little bit. And relax. Take a deep breath. To get into the right mood of playing a lazy build like this. So how do I want to make a crit bow character tanky? Most of you will have noticed that evasion-based characters feel very squishy since 2.0, even when using both the acrobatics and face acrobatics keystones. So the plan to become tanky is... Okay, I can't do this. I just cannot do it. You know that's not how I do videos. This is how I do videos. So the plan to become tanky is go ham on dodge. For that we use Dark Ray Vectors and Hiri's Balls. So we get 40% dodge and 30% spell dodge from the tree, 10% each from Hiri's Balls, and with 8 frenzy charges we get another 16% dodge from our boots. This brings us to 66% dodge and 40% spell dodge. While that does not sound like much, it actually feels extremely tanky while playing. Vargrace adds another 40% to each of those when we need it, so we can get to 95% dodge, which is the hard cap, and 80% spell dodge.
I am invincible!
If we still get killed with those stats, at least we have all right to be salty about bad RNG, and at the end of the day, that's all that counts, right?
And now for a short linguistic interlude.
In case you were wondering why I give Hiri's ire a funny name, the English word ire, which means fury or anger, is pronounced similarly to the German word Eier, which means eggs, but is also commonly used as a word for balls. So, Hiri's balls. Anyways, back to the build. Other than a crap ton of dodge, we also get evasion, because those two work really well together. The passive tree is pretty standard for a Windripper build, with an emphasis on frenzy charges and defense. 112% increased evasion rating as well as 181% increased max life make this build pretty beefy. A link to the passive tree can be found in the video description below. So what exactly makes this build lazy? After all, we got 8 frenzy charges to keep up as well as 4 power charges. Well, first of all we use Tornado Shot as our main skill, because fuck having separate single target and AoE setups. Also, I really like the feel of Tornado Shot. It feels a bit like... Secondly, we use a Blood Magic Gem, because fuck mana issues. That way we can also reserve all of our mana by running Wrath and 2 Heralds. For power charge generation we use the good old Assassin's Mark linked with Curse on Hit, Herald of Ice and Herald of Thunder. For frenzy charges we cannot use Blood Dance because we are already using Dark Ray Vectors. And Blood Rage is way too annoying to keep it up all the time. So instead we just use Oisboid. The Oisboid gem allows us to gain frenzy charges on shattering enemies, and we shatter enemies all the time. And with that, our main gem links are Tornado Shot, Wed, GMP, Blood Magic, Oisboid, and faster attacks. I'm currently using a 5 link only, which leaves me without faster attacks.
Using 2 support gems that don't even give damage, 1 that reduces damage, and only Wed to give you more damage? This build sucks!
First of all, it's pronounced Wed. And secondly, the build is optimized for laid-back map clearing and chill gameplay. Not for George Clearspeed.
You just make up dumb excuses like hipsterism and laziness to make crappy builds.
Yep. With this character we get dodge, evasion rating, attack speed, damage and movement speed from frenzy charges, and crit chance from power charges of course. So the difference between having charges up and not having them up is pretty damn huge. And the only way for this character to generate charges is to kill mobs. While this is clearly not optimal, it actually makes for really fun gameplay, where you constantly have to kill enemies to keep yourself going. It reminded me a bit of the old Archon Wizard in Diablo 3, or the Gunzerker in Borderlands 2, which I both enjoyed playing a lot. Also, there's something very satisfying about automated charge generation in Path of Exile. It feels a bit like...
I love it when a plan comes together.
Or maybe like... Excellent. When it all works out. Now, for the last question. Isn't a Windripper fucking expensive? Gearing a Windripper build in general is not cheap, as you want a lot of different stats. Namely, added elemental damage, Wed, crit chance and crit multiplier, as well as much life as you can get, because Hiri's Balls and Dark Ray Vectors do not have life on them. Yes, it is pretty expensive.
But that's just how life is. If you want to get away with sitting on your lazy ass all day, you better be rich. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe for more videos like this in the future. I try to make a video at least once a week. I also sometimes stream on twitch.tv/itsyoji.